Guys, I have purchased far too many books in the past few weeks, so I thought we'd do another book haul. I also have a ton of stuff for my P.O. box. Let me show you. A lot of stuff. So this is probably going to be a long video. So yeah, just relax and let's talk about books. By the way, Google finally gave me my account back, so I can finally reply to people on Goodreads. So I'll do that tonight. But let me read you the first book that I purchased. It's called The Four-Chamber Heart. So I filmed this one right after the last video. This is by that Anais Nin, if that's how you pronounce her name correctly. Oh, The Four-Chambered Heart. Shoot. This is number 3 in the series. So now I have to go back and get number 1. It says it encounters a real-life affair that she conducted with cafe guitarist Gonzalo Moray in 1936. Nina and Moray rented a houseboat, and under the prevailing influence of the boat's watchman and Moray's wife Helba developed a relationship. Man, so I'm gonna have to go back and find something else that isn't, well, anyways, about that one. The next one that I purchased is a new Riley Sager book. I just started this one yesterday. So I'm just gonna read you what it says on here. It says, the worst thing to ever happen to Hemlock Circle occurred in Ethan Marsh's backyard. One July night, 10-year-old Ethan and his best friend and neighbor Billy fell asleep in a tent set up on a manicured lawn in a quiet, quaint New Jersey cul-de-sac. In the morning, Ethan woke up alone. During the night, someone had sliced the tent open with a knife and taken Billy. He was never seen again. 30 years later, Ethan has reluctantly returned to his childhood home, plagued by bad memories and insomnia. He begins to notice strange things happening in the middle of the night. Someone seems to be roaming around the cul-de-sac at odd hours, and signs of Billy's presence keep appearing in Ethan's yard. Is someone playing a cruel prank? Or has Billy, long thought to be dead, somehow returned to Hemlock Circle? There's a little bit more information, but I just started this one, and so I don't want to read anything else. But anyways, it's the new Riley Sager book. It just came out this month. Next, I got I Found You by Lisa Jewell. This I thought would be a good summer read because it takes place on a bay, you know, by the water and stuff. And it says, in this windswept British seaside town of Riding House Bay, single mom Alice Lake finds a man sitting on the beach. He has no name and no idea how he got there. Meanwhile, in a London suburb, newlywed Lily Monrose grows anxious when her husband fails to return home from work. But the police soon deliver even more disturbing news. The man she married never truly existed. Ooh, I just got chills. 23 years earlier, Gray and Christy Ross are teenagers on a summer holiday with their parents. The annual trip to Riding House Bay is uneventful until an enigmatic young man starts paying extra attention to Kirsty, I think. Something about this makes Gray uncomfortable, and it's not just because he's a protective older brother. Who is the man on the beach? Where is Lily's missing husband? And whatever happened to the man who made such a lasting impression on Gray? So yeah, just another thriller Lisa Jewell book because I've really enjoyed her books so far, and I thought a nice little summer read. I thought, how fun would it be to read on the beach or something? And then I got Survive the Night by Riley Sager too, because this is the only other Riley Sager book I have not read. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna get that last one, and then I'll read this one, read that one, and then I'll rank all the Riley Sager books that I've read or that he's written. It's November 1991. Nirvana's in the tape deck, George H.W. Bush is in the White House, and the movie-obsessed college student Charlie Jordan is in a car with a man who might be a serial killer. Josh Baxter, the man behind the wheel, is a virtual stranger to Charlie. They met at a campus ride board, each looking to share a long drive to Ohio. Both have good reasons for wanting to get away. For Charlie, it's guilt and grief over the shocking murder of his best friend, who became the third victim of the man known as the campus killer. For Josh, it's to help care for his sick father, or so he says. The longer she sits in the passenger seat, definitely thought it was a guy, so that's good to know. Okay, the more Charlie notices that there's something suspicious about Josh, from the holes in his story about his father to how he doesn't want her to look inside the trunk. Oh, I got chills again. As they travel an empty, twisty highway in the dead of night, an increasingly anxious Charlie begins to think she's sharing a car with the campus killer. Is Josh truly dangerous, or is Charlie's jittery mistrust merely a figment of her movie-fueled imagination? One thing is certain, Charlie has has nowhere to run and no way to call for help, trapped in a terrifying game of cat and mouse played out on a pitch black road in neon lit parking lots. Charlie knows the only way to win is to survive the night. This sounds so fun, and I really hope Charlie's not the killer because that would be lame. But look at how cool this cover is too. I feel like it reminds me of the Halloween text for some reason, probably because it's like white with the orange around it. But yeah, I don't know, excited for that. I also bought Paul Tremblay's new novel Horror Movie, and I haven't even read this, to be honest. This feels so nice. I gotta be completely honest with you. I love the red pages, and let's take a look at the, yeah, just all black. Yeah, beautiful book, absolutely beautiful. I really like how this one looks. I haven't even read it. I just picked it up because I saw that it came out, and it said, in June 1993, a group of young guerrilla filmmakers spent 4 weeks making Horror Movie, a notorious, disturbing art house horror flick. The weird part, only 3 of the film scenes were ever released to the public, but Horror Movie has nevertheless grown a rabid fan base. 3 decades later, Hollywood is pushing for a big budget reboot. The man who played the thin kid is the only surviving cast member. He remembers all too well the secrets buried within the original screenplay and the bizarre events of filming and the dangerous crossed lines on the set that resulted in tragedy. As memories flood back in, the boundaries between reality and film, past and present, start to blur. But he's going to help remake the film, even if it means navigating a world of cynical producers, egomaniacal directors, and surreal fan conventions. Demons of the past be damned. But at what cost? Horror Movie is an obsessive, psychological, chilling, and suspenseful feat of storytelling genius that builds inexorably to an unforgettable, mind-bending conclusion. So, I don't know. It seems interesting. It feels nice. Let me know if you guys have read that one. I also bought number 11 in the series. This one is Wedding Cake Carnage by Addison Moore. I'm not going to read the back because you guys know what happens. A murder happens, and then she solves it. I also bought this, which I'm very excited about. This is Girls Against God. This is by Jenny Haval. This was the writer of Paradise Rot, and people seem to feel like this one is a very weird story. Like, a lot of people can't keep the things straight and kind of don't know what's going on, it seems like, in the review. So I'm really excited to see yeah, what that's about. I also love her books. Like, just, I don't know, they're very cool. So this says, welcome to small town Norway. White picket fences run in strict rows and strict white Christian values run deep. Here a teenage woman gives into the lure of rebellion offered by the upstart black metal scene. She's a creature of obscure creativity and of a hatred she holds dear. She moves to Oslo, a site of weird convergences. A coven of witches cook up curses. Demons descend on the cafeteria. Time-traveling Edvard Munch joins a metal band, closely pushed by the pubescent model who has murder on her mind. Meanwhile, out in the deep forest, a group of schoolgirls lose their way and find only terrible strangeness. Awful things happen in Aspect. Jenny Haval's latest novel is a radical fusion of feminist thought and experimental horror and a unique treatise on magic, writing, and art. I have no idea what's going on, but I'm so excited to read it. So very excited for that guy. And then these last two, I thought that during, like, closer to Halloween, October-ish, that I could do movie versus books on some more popular horror movies. So I have the Amityville Horror by Jay Anson, and I also have The Devil in Connecticut. This is the book that the movie The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It is based on. And this is by Gerald Brittle. And then, yeah, I thought maybe we could just do a little bit more of a dive into maybe like Ed and Lorraine Warren's. I know a lot of people think that they're just like fakes and phonies, and even this one has some questionable stuff to it. I'm not going to read them because I'm sure you guys know the stories, and we'll get to them eventually. But those are the books that I purchased. I thought that those, yeah, might be fun for October. Let's get to these packages because we've got a lot going on. Okay, I'm just going to start from wherever. This one, somebody sent me, this is, okay, this is so nice. Somebody sent me James Herbert's Fluke, and look at how cute the dog is, but I think the dog might be bad. He is more than he appears to be. A dog wanders the streets, compelled by a ravenous hunger, hunting a prey he cannot define, driven by a primal instinct he cannot ignore. He is more than he thinks, more than he can remember. In the depths of his brain, the memory of what he once was is clawing for release. So, I don't know. I've only ever read one James Herbert book. But you guys know I'm obsessed with my dog, so I really hope that the dog in the book is okay. So thank you so very much. That's very nice. I've only read one James Herbert book, so I'm very excited to see what else he has to offer. Next up here, I was sent Demon Twins. This is by Dylan Gibbs, this novel. This says Garrett Bishop was your average hardworking blue-collar guy. One summer night, he made a terrible mistake and found himself in police custody. He was tried, convicted, and sentenced to an extended stay at the Pennville Correctional Facility, a notoriously ruthless maximum security prison. Garrett made an enemy the day he arrived, and it has become clear that he was not going to survive long behind bars. By chance, he met a fellow inmate with a plan to escape, and he agreed to take Garrett along with him. This may have been another error in judgment, as his new friend was entangled in the shadowy world of the occult. Will Garrett repay his debt for freedom at a potentially catastrophic cost in humanity, or will he be forced to stand up against a powerful demonic force? Interesting. That one sounds very interesting. And then Judith Sonnet also sent me Hell, City of the Killing Dead. And so this one just says, Lori Lyric has woken up from a nightmare. Now she's in hell. Violence is spreading through the city like an epidemic, and Lori's vivid dream seems to be guiding her towards a confrontation with a vile and wicked cult run by a pair of demonic twins. Meanwhile, her friends, neighbors, and even her enemies are fighting their own brutal battles with the supernatural, from a blind man who survives a mass shooting to a creep that stalks the park at night, to an academic who believes he has all the answers. No one is safe. Before long, the undead begin to rise and swarm, throwing an already crumbling city into apocalyptic chaos. This, of course, just sounds fun, filled with splatter, decayed ghouls, Lovecraftian gods, and Italian cinema references. Hell, City of the Killing Dead is a psychotronic assault on the senses and logic. That just sounds so fun. So thank you so much, Judith, for sending me that guy. I have one other book of hers to read before I get to that one. And then this one, somebody sent me this TJ Payne's Intercepts, and I have wanted to read this for a very long time. So thank you so much. That's so nice. It just says Joe works at a facility that performs human experimentation. His work just followed him home. The government wanted to unlock hidden abilities in the human mind. They put subjects in extreme sensory deprivation, and all the test subjects went violently insane, but the research continued. Today it has to be perfected. Almost perfected. A must read for fans of horror. So yeah, I don't know. I have seen this one around. I've seen so many people talk about how they enjoyed it. So I'm really excited to read this. Thank you so much. And then this is so funny, this note that they sent with it. They said that it's like a horror sci-fi book, which is right up my alley. They said they enjoy my videos. Thank you so much. They're from the Netherlands. This always blows my mind. I mean, it's wild to me that anybody watches my videos where I talk about books, but it blows my mind that people from other countries watch my videos. It's just, that's so wild. So that's so cool. And then it says, you can say my name. I'm kind of curious how you'll pronounce it. I love how you guys just subtly roast me. And please do not be offended because I'm going to pronounce that incorrectly. I don't even know how. It's I-L-S-E. Ilse Mahue would be my guess. I don't know. Correct me in the comments. But thank you so much. That is so kind. Next, I received Behind by Bentley Little, and this is an advanced uncorrected proof. So I think that this will be maybe his newest book when it does come out, which is actually really freaking exciting. I've only ever read one Bentley Little book, and so I'm excited to see what this one's about. It says, when he was a little boy, there was a house behind Alex Laurie's house, except he was the only one who could see it. Only he could hear the woman singing from within. Oh, wait, why did that give me so bad of goosebumps? Ew, creepy. Decades later, after the pandemic cost Alex his corporate job, he picks up working, delivering He picks up work delivering specialty items to homebound clientele, and against all odds, he realizes he enjoys his new life. His world is simpler, quieter, until he once more hears the tuneless, wordless song of the woman from the house behind. Until the cracks of the facade of his simple, quiet life begin to yawn, and a past he thought he had outrun begins to gain on him, until he finds himself slipping into the world behind. Oh! This sounds so fun. Behind his Bentley Littles, at his Beth, a scathing, razor-sharp terror of off-kilter paranoia that examines the thin veneer of civilization and how quickly it can erode and what lies behind it. Interesting! That sounds so fun. Okay, next up, holy moly, what is this? I got 2 books here. So this is Raymond Agnes? Correct me if I'm wrong. This is Soul Herder, and then this one is Reef Gold. And so this guy says, cursed with the power to walk in the minds of others and bend reality itself, Rachel the Shepherd spends her days releasing lost souls from their wandering. But night is coming and her forest continues to suffer. Once she was a hero, sung about in the halls of great castles, now she is a vagrant, walking the woods and praying for days filled with solitude. Rachel's days as a soldier ended long ago, and her sword's silver blade have been sharpened one too many times, but caught in the violent game of spirits, shamans, and charlatans, she can no longer ignore the forces that see her arcane power as a resource to exploit. She's no longer a young woman, no longer does she fight on any terms but her own. And because the world refuses to grant her peace, Rachel the Shepherd will march to war once more. Interesting. This cover is really cool too. This one says Reef Gold. Definition: gold still deposited within its original host rocks. Captain Maynard List got his payday finding a psychoactive coral reef with a 1 in a million jackpot that any man needed if he wanted to make it big in the cold subterranean oceans of Europa. The crew of the Groundbreaker earned tax-free millions overnight, but Europa has its own storm brewing, and Maynard finds himself in the sights of a Federal Patrol vessel and pirate frigates. All while Levithians continue to prey on the strange titanium holes that have invaded their world. Guns, heavy machinery, prospecting, and greed are back in style, and Maynard List is the man of the times. Things are rough on the frontier, and the massive influx of hallucinogenic coral is a change that Port Authority was not ready to adapt to. That was fine by Maynard. Money was worth the chaos. No one lives forever. So this one seems like a sci-fi underwater fun exploration, and this one seems, I don't know, it seems spiritual, but then it also seems like there's other elements to that one too. So of course, with all these books that are sent to me, I always leave them linked down below in case any of these seem interesting to you. Okay, so first they sent me a very, very nice note, so thank you. I appreciate, I mean, a handwritten note. That's so nice. Look at how cool this sticker is. Okay, this is called Warp Asylum, a novel by KJ Ryall. And it says, bipolar disorder is a chronic mental illness which causes dramatic shifts in a person's mood, energy, and ability to think clearly. The pendulum of bipolar mania can swing from absolute euphoria to utter despair in an instant. In several cases, a sufferer may have to navigate their way through a psychedelic landscape of both audible and visual hallucinations, blurring the lines between fact and fiction. This book was conceived during a 6-month manic episode which led to the destruction of all things I held most dear. My marriage, my home, my friends, every penny to my name, all lost in my attempt to define a black hole as the hand of God, connecting science and religion through a piece of art. Once I was stable, I spent years trying to make sense of the collection of apocalyptic ramblings, movie lines, song lyrics, scientific studies, and math formulas fleshed out with symbols instead of numbers, because at that point the numbers weren't adding up, but pictures did. So this is my story told the way I want to tell it, half written in a psychotic state, half while resisting the urge to return there. Oh my gosh, this sounds so freaking interesting. Man, my heart goes out to anybody who's struggling with like mental health or drug addiction or anything. that you've got to be super strong to go through all of that. So anyways, I'm glad that it seems like you're doing better now, which I'm glad. And yeah, this sounds really freaking interesting. So thank you so much for sending this to me. Thank you for the written note. And yeah, I really appreciate that. That's so kind. Thank you anybody who has sent me anything this go around. I mean, look at you guys are going to keep me loaded up on books for the rest of eternity. I really appreciate it. You guys are the best. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for watching. Let me know what you guys think about any of these books. Let me know any books that you have recently purchased. And thank you for watching. Did I already say that? And I will see you soon with another horror video. Bye, guys.
I got nightmares in my head, I fear that the thoughts build up until I can't hear, that my mind fills up into a creature, and it haunts me somewhere much deeper.